Welcome back, boys and girls. I'm Mr. Albrecht, and we're going to do some more practicing in Unit 2. Unit 2. So have your workbooks ready and have a pencil handy because we're going to be looking at reading comprehension today and thinking about what we read. So we're going to practice that through a couple workbook pages that have us reading and really thinking about what we read in order to answer some questions, okay? So our learning target, again, would be to be able to read and comprehend what I read. Makes sense? So let's look in the back of our book and find practice page 29. Practice page 29. It has a list of questions on it. Give you a moment to get that ready. And while you do that, I'm going to start explaining the directions. It says to read the sentences out loud. But I want you, as you're reading them out loud, to really practice adding that inflection at the end, which means you see the question mark at the end, and your voice is going to react, okay? Because we've been practicing that when we read during our bedtime tales reader. And we're noticing that question mark, so we're going to have to think about, let's look at the first one together. Can a mule cook dinner? Now, we heard our voices go up at the end because we saw that question mark. So what we're doing on this practice page is we're answering the question, can a mule cook dinner? And the answer to that would be no. A mule cannot cook dinner. Now, let's look at number 2. All right, so can you wave your hand? See what my voice did at the end with that question mark? And we're going to answer the question on the line, yes or no. And I can wave my hand. I bet you can too. So we're going to write yes on there. Okay, let's look at the next one. Are your feet green? So think about that, saying that again after me, just like I did. Are your feet green? Well, my feet are not green. I hope yours not green either. Unless you stepped in some paint. So we're going to say, nope, my feet are not green. Now think about what you're doing. You're reading the sentence, you're practicing that question mark, but you're also having to think about what you read, because if you answered yes to that, then you weren't really thinking about are your feet green or not, right? So think about what you're reading. Number 4, can you swim in a pool? Can you swim in a pool? Notice the difference? Okay, well, can you swim in a pool? This one might be a personal question. It may be no for some of you that can't swim and yes for some of us that can swim. But in general, can you as a human being swim in a pool if you knew how to swim? The answer would be yes. So let's all put yes there, because if you haven't learned to swim yet, that will be something you can get practice at soon. Hopefully when you get back this warm summer. All right, number 5. Is a dime less than a nickel? Listen to how I read that. Is a dime less than a nickel? Is a dime less than a nickel? So think about reading them different ways too. That's going to help you really pay attention to that question mark. And think about what you're reading. Is a dime less than a nickel? What's the value of a dime? I know the value of a dime is 10, and the value of a nickel is 5. Is a dime less than a nickel? No. So we're going to write no there. Some of these are deeper thoughts. And number 6 on this page says, is a river wet? Is a river wet? Well, yes, a river's wet because it's full of water. So we're going to say yes to that one. So we're thinking as we read, what is the sentence asking us? What are they asking us? And then answering yes or no. So there's a few more for you to finish on the next page. And I want you to pause the video here. I want you to read each one aloud to yourself. Really practice that question mark at the end and how your voice sounds. If it doesn't sound right the first time, read it again. Not only practice that, but think too about what you're reading and then answer the question. Yes or no on the line. Pause the video here, and I'll see you back in just a few minutes. Welcome back. So you have read number 7 through 12 on the next page. Hopefully you heard that tone of your voice go up at the end with that question mark. You thought about what you were reading, and you answered yes or no. So now you can check your work against mine. Let's read through them. Is it dark at noon? No, noon is in the middle of the day, and so if it's daylight, it's not dark. So we're going to answer no. Is a cake sweet? Yes, because we love to eat cake. Cake is sweet, full of sugar. Number 9, are there cats on the moon? Are there cats on the moon? No. So again, I'm thinking about what that just asked me. Number 10, can a rock swim? I've never met a rock that can swim. Most of the rocks I know just sink. I can skip some rocks. Can you do that on a pond? You might be able to make them skip, but you can't make them swim. Number 11, is a boiling pot hot? I think hopefully you learned that one a long time ago. Yes, a boiling pot is hot, and we don't want to touch that for fear we get burned. And number 12, is butter red? No, I've never seen red butter. I hope you haven't either. All right, so let's move on and look at practice page 31. So just in your books, you're going to turn a couple pages back to practice page 31, and you're going to find a page that looks like this with some pictures and a couple sentences next to each picture. For this one, we're going to read each of the sentences and then place a check mark in the box next to the sentence that best fits the picture. So let's take a look. So the first one's been done for us, and it says, roses have thorns or roses have horns. Again, we're thinking about what we're reading, because if I answered roses have horns, we didn't really think about what we were reading. Roses have thorns, so we put a check mark there. Let's read the next one. Number 2. My house has a yard. My cloud has a yard. I've never heard of a yard in front of a cloud. Clouds are up in the air. So again, thinking logically that my house has a yard. So we're going to put a check mark into my house has a yard. Number 3, we see a picture of some, looks like they're got some string, and it looks like I call that knitting. So the two sentences are, I can knit mittens or I can knit kittens. Well, I think that she's probably knitting some mittens, okay? So I'm going to put a check mark there. Now, could you knit a little pretty little kitten? Possibly if you're really good at knitting, but mittens is what they're trying to knit here. I can see it looks like the part that starts to go around your wrist. All right, number 4. Dentist fix teeth, dentist fix sheep. Look at the picture closely here, okay? What is going on in the picture? So that's helping you think about what you're reading, because pictures do that in our books. We wanted to look at the picture to understand better what we're reading. So in this one, dentist fix teeth would be the right answer. So we're going to put a check mark right there. Number 5. I see a picture of a duck. So I read my sentences. This pup is cute. This duck is cute. Well, I'm not looking at a pup. So I'm thinking again, this is a duck. So this duck is cute. And number 6, I swim in the pool. I'm looking at this picture. I'm thinking somebody's swimming. Or I run on the moon. Well, that's definitely not somebody running on the moon. So I'm going to pick I swim in the pool. Again, here we're using pictures to help us think about what we're reading. So I want you to pause the video here and finish up the rest of this book page. It's on page 160. So if you just turn the page in your book, you'll find the rest of these on page 160. I want you to read each sentence carefully, use the picture to help you, think about what you're reading, and answer the correct choice. Put a check mark next to the correct choice. All right, we'll see you back in just a few minutes. Welcome back. So I hope you took some time to read each sentence. You looked at the picture. You confirmed in your head, what is the sentence saying that ties with my picture? So let's check our work and see if we got them right. Well, we have 2 pictures here, and we have 2 sentences. Okay, so we have 2 trees. I don't see bees, I see trees. So that makes sense that trees are green would be checked there. Number 8, I see a boy riding a bike. So he rides a bike or he rides a horse. Again, it's not riding a horse. Could he ride a horse? Yes, but our picture is helping us to understand what this sentence is saying. Number 9, I have a dime, I have a lime. Well, that's not a picture of a lime, so I have a dime would be checked off. Number 10, the band is loud or the fan is loud. Well, I see a picture of 2 guys there with guitars, so I'm assuming they're talking about a band. I would have to see a fan to see something about a fan and say the fan is loud. A fan can be loud, but again, our picture doesn't match the sentence. It matches the band is loud. Number 11, this is a good book. Well, I see a book here, so that makes sense. Then I read the next one. He is a good cook. Okay, I don't see there anything about a cook there, and I do see a book, so I'm going to go with this is a good book. Number 12. I see a picture again of our artist. So the artist can paint or the artist can faint. Again, we're practicing reading as well. Remember, we're thinking about what we read. Well, she's not fainting, which means she would like pass out, but she is painting. So we got to think about the sound, the beginning sound of that word. Notice faint and paint rhyme, but the beginning letter sound makes all the difference, right? She is actually doing some painting. All right, so boys and girls, I hope you did really well on that one, because I bet you did. I bet you did. All right, boys and girls, can you say, I can read and comprehend what I read? I bet you can. The 2 worksheets you did today, you were thinking about what you read in order to answer yes or no, or to check the correct box. So I look forward to working with you next time on some more practice. Bye-bye.